What's up guys, as you can see by this upload, yes, sadly the Doggo Mob series has come to an end. But in this video you can watch all Doggo Mob episodes from 1 to 20 and even the 100 subscriber special. I just want to say thank you for all your support on this series guys, it means a lot and I just really like making content that you guys enjoy, as that's all I really want to do, make you guys happy by watching these videos. If you do want to get involved with my channel, be sure to put suggestions in my comment section below, it really helps out a lot. Also, I would really appreciate it if you like the video and subscribe. It's free and you can always unsubscribe later. So yeah, sit back, relax and enjoy the video. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release the gladiators. Oh, the dog is going for a sneak attack whilst the skeleton is distracted. And the skeleton tries running away. The dog has him pinned. And the dog wins. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release the hounds. The dog in the blue and the drowned in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog got the first hit. Watch them duke it out. Oh, the dog might lose here. It's a very even match. And the dog wins. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release the fighters. The dog in the blue corner and the spider in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog bites first, but the spider poisons him. The winner is the dog, but will he survive the poison? He does! Good doggo. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release the champions. The dog in the blue corner and the vindicator in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog bites first, the vindicator chops back, and the vindicator wins, but nobody kills my dog. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release the combatees. The dog in the blue corner and the wither skeleton in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog jumps in and gets hit with the wither effect, but the dog has him pinned. The dog wins, but will he survive the wither effect? He does! Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release the warriors! The dog in the blue corner and the zoglin in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog is getting a beating from the zoglin, but the dog bites back. Will he be able to make a comeback from this? And the zoglin pushes the dog back into his room. The dog is getting backed into a corner. Who will become victorious? It's the dog! Good doggo, here, have some steak. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release the combatants. Dog in the blue corner and the piglin in the red. Let the fight commence. Slash, bite, slash, bite. And the dog wins. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release the troopers. The dog in the blue corner and the zombie in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog bites first, then the zombie fights back. This is quite the even tussle. I'm curious to see who wins. It's the dog! Will any mob ever beat this good boy? Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release the soldiers. The dog in the blue corner and the stray in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog is chasing the stray and the stray is running away. The dog gets the first hit, but the stray jumps out of the arena and the dog's chasing him. Guys, come back! I guess no one wins in this episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release the bruisers. The dog in the blue corner and the zombie villager in the red. Let the fight commence. The villager attacks the dog, but the dog does not want any of his trades. It's a close fight, but only one can win. It's the dog. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release the knights. The dog in the blue corner and the witch in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog jumps on the witch, and the witch throws a potion at the dog. The witch is only throwing potions. It's an interesting tactic. It could possibly work. The dog is poisoned. Who will win? It's the dog! Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob. Who will win? Release the paladins! The dog in the blue corner and the shulker in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog starts the fight, getting a few consecutive bites off, but the shulker hits him with levitation. The dog doesn't know what to do. He's just stuck floating midair, and the shulker hits him again with more levitation. How high will the dog go? No one knows. The shulker hits him again with not one, but 2 attacks. The dog is far too high now. Will he survive? Don't fall, my precious doggo. And, oh no! He fell down! Well, I guess the shulker wins this one. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob. Who will win? Release the fellas! The dog's in the blue corner and the Ravager in the red. Let the fight commence. All the dogs jump on the Ravager. The Ravager is focusing the dog on the right. He sends him flying. That's 1 dog down. Will the other 4 manage to beat him? These dogs are relentless. They won't let the Ravager go. There goes the second dog. Only 3 remaining. Can they do it? The Ravager is taking them down, 1 by 1. Who will be victorious? It's the dogs! Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob. Who will win? Release the lads! The dog in the blue corner and the silverfish in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog jumps on the first silverfish, killing it easily, but the second silverfish is angry and pins the dog into a corner. The dog kills the second one, and there's just 1 remaining. The fish doesn't stand a chance. Well, the dog had a tasty snack today. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob. Who will win? Release the beasts. The dog in the blue corner and the husk in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog bites first and the husk bites back. It's like a tennis match, they're just going back and forth. Who will win? It's the dog! Good doggo. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob. Who will win? Release the animals. The dog in the blue corner and the guardian in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog spots the guardian hiding in a corner and runs in for the attack. Oh, he almost sends him out of the arena! But the guardian jumps back in and the dog attacks again and gets hit by the spiky scales of the guardian. The dog carries on pursuing the guardian, but he's a slippery fellow. He hasn't pinned and the dog wins. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob. Who will win? Release the troopers! The dog in the blue corner and the evoker in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog has no mercy. He bites first. The evoker is summoning some friends to help him, but the dog is just destroying the evoker and takes him down. Now the dog is just left fending for his life versus 3 Vexes, and he manages to take 1 out. 2 Vexes remaining. Can he do it? The dog is trying his best, and he's chasing one of them down. But the Vexes can fly, so they have an advantage against the dog. The dog is stuck on the ground, not knowing what to do. Oh no, the Vex swoops down and takes him out. Looks like it's a draw. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob. Who will win? Release the barbarians. The dog in the blue corner and the polar bear in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog initiates by getting the first bite. Then the bear retaliates by hitting him away. But the dog just keeps nibbling away at the bear. Who will win? It's the dog. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob. Who will win? Release the mercenaries. The dog in the blue corner and the Enderman in the red. Let the fight commence. The dog bites first and the Enderman punches back. The dog is just nibbling at the ankles of the Enderman. Will this tactic work? The tactic worked. The dog wins. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob. Who will win? Release the warden. Let the fight commence. The warden's blind, so he's listening out for his opponents. He hears them, and he goes in for the attack. But the dogs don't like that, and they all jump on him. The dogs are persistent. They won't let the warden go. But the warden is taking down the dogs 1 by 1. There's too many dogs, there's no way he can survive. The warden has so much health he just refuses to go down. Oh, and he casts a sonically charged shriek. That could be devastating for the dogs. The warden attempts to get away from the pack of dogs, but they will not leave him alone. Will the warden manage to beat down all the dogs, or will the dogs manage to take him down? And the dogs win! Thanks for the 100 subscribers, guys. Stay tuned for another episode of Doggo Mob. Doggo Mob, who will win? Release everyone! The Guardian flops out the room first, whilst all the dogs are piling in. The zombie Vindicator and Skeleton come out as well. The Vindicator runs at me and hits me, so my dogs jump on top of him and take him down. The zombie's next, and he just doesn't stand a chance versus them. The witch sneakily chucks a potion at the dogs whilst the dogs destroy the zombie. Now the horde are chasing down the stray. He isn't going to know what hit him. He tries to get away, but his death is inevitable. The witch is the next target. I feel bad for the witch right now because it's about to get nasty. The dogs jump on the witch, but they get hit with the splash potion. She literally cannot survive this horde. Then the dogs mercilessly take down the zombie piglins. Absolutely brutal. Some dogs are killing the skeleton in the room, whilst the other ones are chasing down the Guardian. The skeleton dies. It's the Guardian left. They take him down and the dogs win. Thanks for watching Doggo Mob, guys. It was a really fun series to make. Catch you in the next video.